friends. Welcome to Build and Run. This is a real VR podcast for Unity developers. And what we do in this episode and every other episode, when we are able to, is essentially create VR. Create VR right here in front of you, with you, and with you actually being here in 360 video. So we're today here at the Style Makerspace. This is a part of NYC VR University, a New York community of VR developers where we literally teach you how to make VR. And we're gathered here to learn about the Vive. And not just the Vive, but really all VR. So this will be a little bit of intro, and if we have time, we'll be able to go deeper into the more complicated, more advanced VR technology. But we're going to start very simply, very basic, very just as the way that anybody can start. And then if we have time, and it seems like we should, we can get a little deeper. So the first thing you need to know about any VR is what VR really is. And VR is changing, essentially presenting you with an artificial environment. And it does that very simply in the very most basic way with cardboard. In this case, unofficial cardboard, which is far superior to the real cardboard made by Google. So what this started out as, there was this kind of the VR history of our generation began with the Oculus. Oculus, now owned by Facebook, created a VR headset that was very advanced for its time. I think it was something around $2,000 or $3,000 advanced. Google, that same year, said, we can also do something, and we're going to charge you $0 for it. We're literally going to give this out to you at our developers conference for free, because it costs us so little. And what is it? What is it essentially is a piece of cardboard that folds together and holds your phone. Your phone magically has all of the sensors needed for very simple VR. It has a gyroscope and accelerometer. Not everybody's phone, but most modern phones. I know sometimes you have the very old candy bar phone that just calls people. Well, once you have a computerized modern phone, you can do VR with just this and your phone. And you literally slide your phone in here, you load up some VR. These are lenses. These literally refocus your screen in a way that's more consistent to the way you see the world. So now it takes your regular phone screen, it splits it in half, so that one eye will see this side and the other eye will see the other side. And as you move your head, the image that is displayed, the sound, the entire experience is updated so that you can look to your left and you see things to your left. You look to your right, you see things to your left. You're right. You could look up, yeah. And just like that, where it looks like it's magic. Like, how does it know? It knows because of this very expensive sensors that are already built in your phone that you don't even know you're using. And so that starts with cardboard. And cardboard was good enough to give us an SDK. An SDK is a software development kit. And literally what they did was they said that if you want to make something for cardboard, here, this is how you do it. We'll give you everything. We'll break the screen in half for you. Not literally break the screen in half, but we'll divide the screen. We will have essentially the framework to make this kind of VR. And that's the first part. So with that, you have cardboard. If you do a Google search for cardboard SDK, just like this, you will get this page. You'll be able to download this cardboard. And it's recording screen, which means that you'll be able to see this later. And what it says, cardboard SDK for Unity. That is very important because without Unity, there is nothing. There is literally the math required to do anything three-dimensional is absolutely. That sound, it is far too much to even tell you about. Just understand that the math to even move one thing to one place in 3D space is math beyond any simple calculator. You need far more advanced mathematics, and Unity does not just the math, not just the physics, not just the audio, but the actual the entire everything that you really need in a game engine. including the community. So most of what this is, Dreitser, we'll make fun of you as you leave. But yeah, it is they make not just the software, not just the platform for making VR and all games, but they give you the community. This community is really modeled around their community, around the way that they teach this, and the way that they enable you as artists, visionaries, gamers, anybody, to make. And to make simply, in literally less than 25 minutes. And most of the time is spent talking. So the actual development is so quick. It's literally like that. And we'll get started. So you download Unity through unity3d.com. And the very first episode of Build and Run discusses literally what... Try this, record this part. Okay, good. The very first episode of Build and Run at build-run.com teaches you literally how to install Unity. And it seems very simple, it's just a download, but then while you're downloading, there's a lot of other tools that I talk about that are very useful in making VR. So when you're making VR, you also want to have some audio editing, you want to have some 3D modeling software. So if you don't know how to install it, or you want some friendship while you're installing it, go to the website, go to Build and Run, and you can watch me install in real time. So as the progress loader loads, I am talking and teaching, and when it's done, we are done. So it is, you can sync it up. Maybe, hopefully your computer's faster than mine, but you never know. So you download this Unity, you download this cardboard. When you open up Unity, this is what you're greeted with. The way this looks on my screen may be different than yours. When you first load it up on a fresh install, you're going to have this default layout. So if you look at window layouts, you're going to be greeted with this. It's the same thing, but it's laid out differently. So Unity has the flexibility where if you're working on a certain thing, you can move things around. You could be like, hey, I really want to be full screen on looking at my world space. And then you could do that. You could literally flex it and modify it to your preferences. My preferences are very similar to a bunch of other people that I like in terms of development, and it starts with 2x3. So I go 2x3, I move this project panel a little bit down, I slide this over, and this is very comfortable for me. And this is usually the way my screen works. This is how it will look when I'm teaching. Understand that it's the same screen. It's just things are positioned differently. And we'll explore it here. This is the scene. This is the way that you would move around, explore, modify, change this world. This is your world here. And then you'll see in this hierarchy panel, you have the main camera. I click on it and it highlights it. And you have a directional light. What this does is allows you to view the world through the camera. The camera is the way you see VR. You're seeing this on your screen. When you publish your game or your app, the viewer will watch it through the camera. And that is what we're going to change. There's the most fundamental difference from VR to traditional R, traditional games, traditional reality, traditional apps. And the way we do that is by very simply downloading this Google Cardboard. It actually downloads so incredibly fast that I don't even need to have this prepared for you. This will download live. We're actually here now live downloading this Cardboard SDK. And you see right there, downloaded. Downloaded, I click it while Unity's open. It understands that that is a Unity package, and it will open with this this screen. So anytime you double click something you downloaded as a Unity package, it opens this and asks you, which parts of this do you really want to import? And you could get selective. You're like, I don't really want this. But in this case, we'll just take everything. Take it all. And there you go. It literally imports it for you. When it's done importing, it will show up here in this assets folder. This is this is where I keep stuff. This is where you keep stuff in your Unity project. When you're working in a scene, you have the scene, which is this, and you have assets. Assets are everything else. There are the models, the sounds, the logos, the icons. Everything else goes into your assets folder. And right here in my assets folder, Cardboard went ahead and put these in there, because that's what happens when you import an asset. It loads these into your assets folder. So if I go into prefabs, now prefabs, there's a little bit of terminology in Unity. I can't lie to you and tell you there's absolutely no learning curve, that you knew this when you were born. There is a little bit. You have to learn a few words, a few terms, a few things to really get the most out of Unity. One of those is prefabs. Unity works in this magical drag and drop interface. So if you know how to play solitaire, if you know how to use a mouse, you can make Unity. And most of this will be literally made without anything, without any coding. Literally just drag and drop. If you can drag and drop, if you can import photos from your camera, you can make Unity. And it's really because of Unity this is so simple. If this was coding 3D from scratch, I could not tell you it's drag and drop. I would have to pull out the dry erase board and sit here for hours talking about matrix math. This is the simplest, easiest way of doing anything. So you take Cardboard main. So inside Cardboard main is Cardboard head and everything else. Cardboard main is what you need. All of these are essentially different components of Cardboard main. They should have just put them all away somewhere so they don't distract you. But just remember, Cardboard main, right? It sounds like the one you want, Cardboard main. You take that, and literally all I did right here was I dragged it into my scene. So this is your hierarchy. This is what is going on literally in your scene. I have my main camera and my directional camera. I'm going to take Cardboard main. I'm going to drop it right in there. And there you see it. There is now, and you see there's a logo. So this is a camera. And there's the old camera that came with the scene. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete the main camera that came with the scene. Bam. So now the only camera is my Cardboard main and a directional light. One of the greatest parts of Unity is what's called the asset store. The asset store is a shopping spree, is a VR store. It is if you want to make VR. Traditionally, you would need to hire a texture artist, a 3D modeler, or you have to learn these things yourself. You have to get really deep into the individual components that make up VR, whether it's audio, whether it's menu buttons, whether it's 3D models. You have to get very deep into those and literally make them yourselves. With Unity, there is the asset store where there is no issues in compatibility. There are no issues in everything. Everything in the asset store literally works magically in Unity. And this is what the asset store will look like. It is, you go in here and you search. One of the things just starting out that I recommend you look for is, what is it? Unity Essentials. And these are, a lot of these are, $20, $15 for fantastic models. Like, you can have that furniture pack that you see right there for $20. Low poly landscapes for $15. That's your whole world. For $15, you don't have to make little trees and spend hours perfecting your scene. $15 and you're set. I cannot tell you, I cannot recommend it enough. But even if you don't want to spend the $15, you type in Unity Essentials, and this is the publisher. So if you click on Unity Technologies, the company that has already given you the platform for free, that has given you the training for free, the swag and the t-shirts for free, is going to say, hey, you guys want some more free stuff? And they'll give you these tutorials, these samples, all of these different assets for free. And what more can you ask for? There's actually a VR samples here that takes a little bit to download. I won't go over that now. This will be gone over in the class. But yeah, you download this and you have all of these. You have a jet flying game ready for you. You hit the button and that's it. It's ready to go for free. For not a single penny out of your wallet, nothing. You literally download Unity for free, you download this for free, and you have VR fully working. And not just that, not just the flying airplane through the space, not an airplane, this is a spaceship. Not only can you fly spaceships, you can go through a maze. You can shoot target shooting. All this is just one asset. I happen to download, what was the asset that I have magically chose here? What's called QueryChan. And this is very important because this is a model. To create a 3D humanoid model is not light work. It will take a good developer almost a day to do so. This took 3 clicks of a mouse. So 3 clicks of a mouse and you have a fully animated, fully working 3D model that you can make stuff in. So this is QueryChan. This is one of the, it's like a running joke. There's a Unity Chan model. The reason QueryChan came up first is because alphabetical order, right? It is the one that starts, the one that is like has the name. That is weird, right? QueryChan. It starts with a Q, but maybe there's like a special character. Maybe it's a very. So this happens quite often. You'll see this message. This is a little bit of the gotchas in Unity. There have been changes in the Unity main platform. There are assets that were developed before those changes. When you import those assets, it's going to ask you something like this, like API update required. I have always just said, yes, I made a backup, go ahead. And I have never been proven wrong. I have never suffered the consequences. You probably never will either. So it is just a warning message. Don't let it scare you. Don't think that it is in any way anything more than just a warning message. All right. So now that I have imported that, I have my cardboard, and then I click right back to my scene. So now I have my camera. This is the light that illuminates my scene. And there's PQ assets. This is just came in because I imported the QueryChan, right? So these prefabs. Once again, we go right back into prefabs. Prefabs is Unity's unit of measure. It is Unity's very basic component. With prefabs, you can turn anything into a prefab, and you can take any prefab and just drop it into your scene. A prefab is a container, essentially, a prefabricated asset. And just get used to it. Just get used to the. Should we do a Christmas one? Let's do a regular one. Let's see what this looks like. So what I do is I take the prefab from the prefabs folder, and I drop this in. Now this scene, navigating your scene is one of the most important things you have to learn in Unity, and this takes really experience. So I use the Alt, the Option and Command key to do a little bit of rotation, to pan around and get a good feeling of where I am in the scene. So this QueryChan instantiated it. I dropped it on here, and what it did was it dropped default right on top of my camera. So if I look at my camera, which is this game view, I'm not seeing anything. I'm not seeing anything because literally my model is standing on top of the camera. So all I have to do is either move the camera or move the model. So I'm here, I click on Cardboard Main, and you see it here. What these little arrows are, they're called gizmos. They allow me to move these things with drag and drop, right? I don't have to write code. I don't have to tell the machine, I want to move backwards 300 pixels. I just take it and drag and drop it. The same way you would resize a photo. The same way, very basic, intuitive actions. So you take this, and let's say she's not facing me, so I just go ahead and rotate. And with this, what I'm doing here is I'm using keyboard shortcuts for these right here. This is to move, this is to rotate, this is to resize. W, E, and R, as you get a little more advanced, you start wanting to use the shortcuts. So W, E, and R is the shortcut for that. And as I rotate, if I hold down Command, it will break it down to 15-degree increments. So here I am. Here I have the Google Cardboard looking at the model. If I hit play, so this right here at the top is how you get your scene to start. And you can see already what it's done is it's broken the screen into the right and left eye. So if I move in closer, and I could, while it's playing, I can go ahead and modify the scene. The only downside is what I do while it's playing will not be saved. So if I go ahead and move this camera closer, you can see the 3D effect. Essentially, the angle of the right eye is different than the angle of the left eye. And you can see that clearly right here. She's kind of looking slightly off center on the right eye, and the left eye is basically right in the middle, right? And what that will do is give you the illusion of 3D. This is what 3D is. 3D is the slightly offset perspective of your two different eyes. That's how you know things are in 3D. So this right here is the model in 3D. And not a single code, not a single line of code, nothing done other than drag and drop, right? Not a single dime spent. So this is how we make VR. And if I wanted to go and I say, File, Build, and Run, and this is how you take it from being on your computer to being on your phone. If you want the very simplest, most basic VR experience, you go Google Cardboard. Google Cardboard works on iOS, works on Android. Does not work on Windows phones, but that should change soon. And plus, who has Windows phone, right? Unfortunately, yeah, it's not common. But so then what I do, since I have an Android phone and I'm going to build this to an Android, I'm going to, where's my Android phone? Oh yeah, excellent. This should be in one of these. Is it in my viewer? There it is. Often I lose my phone inside my cardboard viewer. This happens. Luckily, in my house I have hundreds of these viewers, and I'm like, Neil and haystack, where's my phone? But since I'm gonna port it to this Android phone, I'm gonna right here in your build settings, you click Android. There is one tiny bit of typing you need to do. We are not out of the woods yet. We're very close to being out of the woods. Like, we can see the end of the woods. We can see where the shrubbery is starting to thin. But here we have to go to player settings. Here you can choose the icon. You can choose the name of your app as it will appear on your home screen. So you can choose the icon, the name, the splash screen, or all this other stuff. One thing we need to do before we publish is in other settings. This is what's called the bundle identifier. This is common across all programming, across all apps, across everything. You need to have a unique identifier for what you're making, because it's going to live on a phone with other apps. Computers don't know what the logo looks like, and it's like, oh, you have a pink logo, and that one is green, so it's not the same app. You need to tell the computer specifically in computer language. This is unique and different than everything else you have on your phone. This is better. But no, you really need to just put in here the name, and the convention is a .com, so we could go NYC VRU, and in reverse order. So .com, the domain, and then the name of the product. So here we'll go just VR. And all we click is Build and Run. The podcast is called Build and Run because of this very button. This is the most magical button in all of Unity. With this button, you can go from developing to testing to consuming to distributing. This is the magic button. If there was a button that shot sparks out of it and confetti flying from the sky, it is called Build and Run. Sir?
Do you have to click virtual reality supported?
You do not. This is a beautiful question. Excellent. Thank you, brother. There is this very recently. There is this virtual reality supported checkbox. A phenomenal feature in Unity. Literally, if you have an Oculus, if you have the higher end headsets, including the Samsung Gear VR, not the Vive. That might have changed literally a couple days ago, so don't quote me on it. Future viewers, please, I'm sorry if I'm mistaken. But for most high-end VR HMDs, which is the head-mounted displays, essentially systems, Unity was kind enough, and it would say no Android device found, because there is not an Android device found, because the Android device is over here. Unity has made it incredibly simple. There's actually a guy called Pete Moss who is the VR dude That is literally his title. You get his business card, it will say VR Dude on it. Yeah, he's a real human. He's godlike, but he's a real human. He literally made this